So good afternoon, dear students. So we feel happy to welcome you all for this an online alumni interaction on hybrid roles of a backend developer. Today, here with us Miss N. Nisa Fatima, NEC Alumna, ECE 2015 to 19 batch. Now she is working as a software engineer grade 3 uh, it's a satellite company. She is working in Chennai. So on this great occasion, we feel happy to be with you all to share her views, stories, ideas, and opinion to build the young budding engineers. So with these words, let me invite Sanmuga Priyan to convey the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone, and very warm welcome to today's Alumni's interaction session on hybrid roles on backend developer. I am Shanmugh Priyan from CSC department, where we are fortunate to have our esteemed alumni with us who have not only thrived in the respective field and but also have made a successful transition from their time here at National Engineering College to the corporate world. It's wonderful to see our current students be excited to hear and learn from those who have walked a similar path and now shine in their professional careers. So, before we begin, let me introduce our incredible alumni who have graciously taken the time to share their journey with us today. Miss Nisha Fatima, she is a 2015-19 batch. She worked in IBM, Infosys, and she is currently working as software developer in ViaSat in Chennai. So, let me hand over the session to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanmo Brian, for an amazing introduction. And I would also like to thank the management, Neelakandan sir and Tamba sir for giving me this opportunity to interact with my juniors. Thank you so much, sir. So, hello everyone. Hope you are all doing good. Hope you all had computer engineering as your major. Anyone want to answer that?
Good morning, good afternoon, sister.
Yes, Ian.
I chose this field because I'm interested in things related to computers and how they work, how they play a role in the society. So I got curious and chose this role.
Okay, that's great. Anyone else want to add? Someone who don't know why they choose computer science. Anyone want to share? Okay, fine. So if you ask me, right, why did I choose electronics and communication engineering? My only goal was to get into engineering. I was not sure why I chose electronics and communication engineering. As per my, advices from seniors and things, electronics and communication engineering is where I can go either to core or I can go to IT. So I had options. That's why I chose electronics and communication engineering. So how I started my journey, right? So I started from ECE, and in my second semester, I got C as my subject, one of my subject. But I couldn't. I was from a maths biology background, and I don't know much about C. So I started to take a second course from an institute again to learn more about C. So that's when I saw people working on website development, animation, Java, APIs, Python. So that's where I became curious, like Indian, and I started to shift my journey towards IT and software engineering. So once I know what I wanted to become, like after second year only, I was clear that I wanted to become a software engineer. And then my focus was to get into a software engineering jobs or companies like Infosys, TCS, IBM, and things like that. So in my final year, like in placement drive, I got selected at Infosys, and I worked with Infosys for 2.8 years as a system engineer. And when I left out, I was a senior system engineer. and then I entered IBM. So I was with IBM for 3 years. And recently, like last month, I switched to ViaSat. ViaSat is a satellite company. It's a product-based American company. So this is my journey, and now I'm in Chennai. So how many of you guys wanted to get into product-based, or do you guys any preference like service-based or product-based? Go ahead, guys. Please unmute yourself. Anyone want to share? Okay, do you guys know what is product-based and service-based? Okay, so I will highlight someone. Monisha, you want to know, you are on my screen. So do you know what is product-based or service-based? Okay.
Product-based companies means they develop new apps or softwares. But in case of service-based companies, மற்ற மற்ற கம்பெனி வந்து அவங்ககிட்ட எங்களுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி வேணும்னு சொல்லி கேட்பாங்க, அதை டெவலப் பண்ணி அவங்களுக்கு கொடுப்பாங்க.
Okay, that's good. That's well and good enough. Service-based, even in service-based, right? They also develop their own products, but they will provide us a service, like you said. Now, which company do you want to get into, Lakshmi Priya, product or service? Do you have any preference?
Product-based company, ma'am.
Why? May I know why?
I don't have proper idea for that. Based on seniors' instruction, I think I can choose product-based.
Okay. Okay, so I will just give you an overview of how the work culture will be in service-based and product-based. So in service-based, you can learn a lot of things than in product-based, I would say. So far, I was in IBM and right now in ViaSat, both are product-based. In Infosys was service-based. So Infosys, I learned a lot of things. IBM also we can learn a lot of things, but if you could learn a lot of things in the first 5 years of your career, it will be very good enough for the rest of your IT career. Product based is well paid and also well, in terms of work-life balance, you will get good work-life balance in product based. So this is just an overview. So today what I'll be doing is I'll be giving you an overview of my field, which is software development. And I was predominantly a backend developer. I was a full stack developer for first 2 years, and I was consistently working as a backend developer. So let me just share my screen. Hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So let me start about software development, right? So there are certain stages in software development, like planning, design, development, deployment, and maintenance. Now in planning, right? Planning is the stage where we will understand the requirements from the customer. It can be either from customer. If it's service-based, it can be from the customer. And if it is a product-based, it can be from the senior management. For example, if some customer wants to integrate Google Pay as a payment service, they might come with a requirement. Okay, so that is a need from a customer. Now let's say senior management is asking for a broader tool like dashboard to see who are all our customers, our customer data and things like that. These will be the requirements from our senior management. So these things comes under planning stage. And if you ask me who will be interacting with customers, especially your managers, and if you're senior, you will get a chance to interact with the customers or consultants. Okay. Now the second stage is design. Designing is where the architecture will be created. So we have, people hire architects, solution architects or software architects to understand the architecture. If it is a smaller team, mostly software developer will be doing all these parts. And then development is where you write and test the code, basically the functions, methods, and things like that. Fourth is deployment. So whatever you have developed, you want to push into the web server or something where people want to see what you have actually developed. That is where this deployment stage comes in. Often in companies, we have the DevOps team. We call it as DevOps team to take care of this deployment stage. Now the fifth is maintenance, where we fix bugs and we add some features to it. This also took care by the software developer. Now, does anyone know what is backend development? Do anyone know what is backend development?
Codes that are written behind the like ஒரு UI இருக்குன்னா அதுக்கு பின்னாடி நம்ம எழுதுற கோடு தான் பேக்கெண்ட் டெவலப்மெண்ட்னு சொல்லலாம்.
Right, you're right, Tarun. It was good. Okay. Any other opinion for backend development, guys?
மேம், ஃப்ரண்ட் எண்ட்ல வந்து முன்னாடி நம்ம யூசர் பாக்குறது வந்து ஃப்ரண்ட் எண்ட்ல ஷோ ஆகிறது எல்லாமே ஃப்ரண்ட் எண்ட் உருவாக்குறது. அதுல ஷோ ஆகிற கீஸ்க்கு ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ் எல்லாமே பேக் எண்ட் டெவலப் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஸோ தட்ஸ் பேக் எண்ட்.
Good. So Tarun and Harimuthu, thanks for sharing your views. Now let me also tell, it's exactly the same what both of you told, right? So let's take Instagram as an example, where everyone uses Instagram, right? Now, as Tarun and Muthu said, right, whatever you see, the buttons, the screens, the reels, the posts, the stories, like buttons, everything is in front end. Now what happens when you click the like button? That comes under backend. So backend is where you store the data, especially like if you want, let's say that you are going to an Amazon website and you are adding some materials to the cart. There will be an interface in between that will collect the data from the UI and that will store in the database. So that is where this backend development comes into the picture. Okay. So it basically interacts with the UI and it interacts with the database with some tool called API. We call it as an API. A server and database are also parts of the backend development. Now, do someone know what is an API? Any idea?
Maybe a tool for programming.
Tool for programming, okay.
Or a link.
Yeah, please.
That connects the front end and the back end.
Connects the front end and the back end, right? Right, so let me explain, okay, what is an API? Okay. So API is something that is like an interface that acts as a waiter, or we can say as a in-between message broker, something like that, which connects the front end to the back end. Okay, so this is a small funny example where whatever happens right in the back end, like a kitchen or server cooking a lot of things, server, database, everything comes under that. Now, how do I tell that this is some message? For example, right, I want to show the customers that these are all the products that I have. Now how will I show it? These products, first it should be in the database and I will use an API. API is a tool that is a function. Basically it's a function, okay? API is basically a function that connects with the, yeah. Someone updated it. Okay. Rhea, you want to tell something? Okay, fine. So what I was telling is, whatever the products that you have will be stored on the database. Now, if you want to show the customer these are the products in the UI, how will it know? Through an API. So API is basically a function that has some connectors or some modules that will connect to the database, drag the information, do the select query, and brings it back to the user. Okay. Now, first, let's know what are the tech stack necessary for the backend, right? So you guys know Java, you have learned Java, Python, or anything related to that so far?
No.
Okay, fine. So I think you will learn in the second or third year, so it's fine. So these are the languages that are necessary for backend technology. Even for UI, JavaScript is needed. Python, then Java. These are the languages. Now there are frameworks, Express.js, Spring Boot. Frameworks are nothing but some extra modules that we can use. Express is an extra module for Node.js, okay, and Spring Boot is an extra module for Java. So instead of writing 10,000 lines of code, now you can limit to 5,000 lines with the help of this framework. Okay, then there is databases. So do you guys know what is structured and unstructured database? Fine. Okay. So structured database is something where, let's again take Amazon as an example, right? So you have products, you have items, you will have customers, you will have some customers choosing certain products. They will add into wish list, they will add into cart. So this is a kind of very structured. So this comes under structured database. They will use structured database for these kind of purposes. Now, same example, let's take Instagram. In Instagram, we don't have products or customers, right? We have just users. It's more of like a graph or network. If I have a profile, I have these many friends. These are my social networks. That is the only data, right? Those are the kind of data. So it is more unstructured. So they come under unstructured data. Now, structured database, we have SQL, MariaDB, MySQL, and Postgres. For unstructured, we have, it's called NoSQL database. So we can use MongoDB. So these are the databases that we generally use. Third is APIs. Now, whatever I told, right, APIs, there are certain standards for writing APIs. One is REST, the other one is SOAP, the third is GraphQL. The mostly used one is REST APIs. And tools, we have a lot of tools like Postman, GitHub, Jenkins. Postman is where, if you develop a backend application, you don't need to go to UI and test the feature. If you want to develop in between, you want to test whether your functionality is actually working, you can make use of Postman and test it. GitHub, let's say that I'm working on a project, same project, okay? I'm working on, let's say, login functionality of a project. Now I have 5 other teammates who are working on the same project, but they are working on cart functionality. In that case, right, our code might overlap. So to control that, we have GitHub. It's kind of a version control tool. Now Jenkins is also part of how you build the server. We can skip that. And the final is deployment tools. So now how do you deploy your application? How do you give it to the user? For that, we have Docker, Kubernetes, AWS, GCP, and things like that. Okay. Now I will give you some small application example. Now user selects pizza. This is a part of front end. So user sees what are the kind of pizza available, what are the cost available, so and depends on their preferences. They are choosing a pizza. They click the pizza and they are choosing it. Now the order will be sent to the backend. So in the backend, what are the things happen? It will check whether the pizza is already available and it will process the payment. Okay, and once the payment is done, it will confirm the order. So whatever order details, how much you have paid, how much cost you have paid, how much quantity you have ordered, everything will be stored in the database. Okay, now let me know if you have any questions, guys, because I'm getting into the topic right now. So I just wanted to know if you guys are clear.
Yes, sister.
Okay, thanks for giving me a response, Inian. So, as I said, right, API call. Now, I will give you some example of how the Node.js API look like. So, this is what the code that we usually write. I said, right, Express is a framework that we make use of, and we trigger the Express of. This is kind of bit advanced for you, but it's just a small overview. Okay, so this is how the API will look like. The code in the form of code. Okay, now let me show you my piece of code. Give me a minute. Share again. Hope my screen is visible.
It's not yet shared.
Now it is shared, I guess.
Yes, thank you.
This is a small backend project that we have. It's a very small backend project. So this is like, let me show you the code. So this is a Node.js backend application where we have config. Config is where we write, configuration that are required. For example, if I'm connecting to database, I may need username, password. So I cannot store it, anywhere and everywhere. So I will store in terms of config, or I can store it in terms of .env file, some basic secret key that I want to use. Okay, so these things will be stored in .env file, and data. So these are the routers. Okay, so now if you want to, for example, if I want to choose a list the products, then I will have /products as my route. Now, if I go to my website and I choose /products, that's where you will see the search URLs, right? So if you give /products, you will see all the list of products that can be coming. So how it comes? First, it connects with we have a service layer. Service layer is where we write the actual functionality. Router layer is where we write the basic routes. Like for countries means I have to get country data. For categories means I have to get category data. Just to represent those routes. That is the purpose of router layer. Now in get countries, it will be stored in, let's say, services. So here I have the actual implementation of get countries. So what it does, it will connect to the database. There will be certain, this is not connecting to the actual database, this is actually connecting to a JSON, but here is where you will have the connection to the database, and then you will get the values from the database. If it is a, it can be lot of, you can get lot of values from countries. You can get country, state, zip code. Now I want to choose only countries. In that case, I will write some JavaScript code that eliminates everything and take only countries. Okay, and then I will send it back to the route. So now if someone goes and opens this route, they will be able to see the countries from my code. Okay, now there are other validations. These are validation in case if the user comes in and the user is authenticated user or not. How do you know? Again, you have to connect with the database and you have to check whether this user has already registered. Right, for that we have this validation. So if the username is, for example, password should be we have a validation string for password, right? So does the user comply with that password? For those things we have this folder called validations. Okay, this is just a basic representation. I don't want to get into details of it. This is I-189. This is something, right, to change the language, to translate the language. For example, if you're using English, now I want to show this web page in French or any other languages, I can use I-18N module and I can make use of it. Okay. Now these are all some code analysis. Now let me show what happens in backend development, right? So let's say that 1,000 people are coming in and using my web page. What will happen? Can anyone tell me?
A server crash.
Server crash. Why? Because there are a lot of entries and the server cannot be able to load it. Okay.
Yes.
Any other answers, please? Okay, so let me get into it. So now 1,000 of people are using the same server. It will crash, obviously. Now what we have to do for it, we have to handle the traffic. That's where something called load balancer came. So load balancer is for, let's say there is a server and 1,000 people are interacting to it. We will route it to different servers. There will be 3 servers or there will be 3 applications. If you take Kubernetes, we will have 3 applications that are running at the same time. So they will connect to, for example, if this is a load balancer and if the server, if 1,000 people are coming to this, it will redirect the route to 3 different servers so we can handle the traffic. So those are one of the challenge in backend development. We have to take care of it. Now, let's say I had 3 servers. Now, let's say I have 1 server and 1 server is down. Now, what will happen? Can anyone tell me? If 1 server is down, the people will not be able to see our web page, right? that is why we also have this multiple deployment, like we will have in multiple regions. Have you guys learned about AWS or anything? I mean, just out of curiosity.
Not yet, sister.
Okay, fine. So I would also recommend you guys learn AWS if you want. If you are really interested to get into software development field, you can learn AWS and things. It will be really helpful. So it's like, instead of having one server, if it is down, no use, right? No use of having that server. Our web server will be down. So we will have multiple servers. So if one server is down, it will redirect to the another server. So that is where, we can handle the failures. Now, security is protecting user data. A lot of people are now accessing, like there are a lot of attacks coming in, DDoS attacks, phishing, spamming, a lot of mails coming in, right? So we have to protect the user data. If you're going to store our password in our backend, we have to encrypt and store it in the backend. So there are a lot of encryption techniques. So for that, we have the security mechanism. And efficient deployment is right. Efficient deployment is where, right? See, that is an application that I developed. It's running in a server. Now I want to change I have newer version of that. I developed something new and I want to deploy it now again in that same server. What will happen? I have to stop the existing application in my server and I have to deploy it again. So during that stop time, my customers will be interacting with that server and they will not be able to access my website. So that is what we call as downtime. So how can we deploy the application without the downtime? So those are all certain challenges that we have to do, and it is a broader concept where if you learn AWS or GCP, Azure, you can get into high level details of it. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover. This is all I wanted to cover. Do you have any questions?
I'm Rhea. Good afternoon.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask if I wanted to become a backend developer in future. So what are the things I have to follow right from the first year?
Right.
Can you give a roadmap?
Yes. So if your goal is to become a backend developer, I would say, start with some technologies like either Java, Python, or Node.js. Choose one language. Okay. And then start learning the basics of the language, master the basics. After you master the basics, start with the framework. I shared this slide, right? Actually, let me share again. Yeah. Okay, so first start with the language and master one of this language. Okay, once you did that, there will be some Udemy courses that says how to develop a API. So you can go through the Udemy courses and you can master this framework. With this framework, usually this is the current technology that has been widely used in current market. Node.js with Express is one of the famous technology. Java with Spring Boot is one of the very required technology. Python is now used with Fast API. If you are aiming for abroad countries, Python, Golang, or one of the necessary technologies, because in US or other countries, most required technologies Python and Golang. Okay, they are kind of a future technology currently, as well as they will bloom in future. So I would say choose one and start with their respective framework. Learn Udemy courses. So once you master this, again learn SQL and data. SQL is needed for mostly, if you are aiming to become a data scientist, again SQL is needed. If you're aiming to become a software developer or backend developer, database is needed. So pick one database, master it, and then start with your Udemy courses where you can learn the REST APIs. Okay, I think Udemy course, they will give you very brief understanding on how to create APIs. Okay, so that's the overall view. And now recently there are a few technologies like Docker, Kubernetes. So if you learn that, it will be an added advantage to your profile. I hope I have answered your question, Neha.
Yes, sister, it's very clear. Thank you.
Okay, do anyone else?
Sister, what are the potential issues or difficulties backend developers face when they try to become a full stack developer or try to collaborate with the front end developer? What are the issues they face?
What are the issues that face for backend? Okay, so see, if you want to become full stack developer, see, you can immediately switch to UI or front end. Now I feel I just recently moved to a job, and if you have 1 year of experience or 2 year of experience in UI, that is also good enough. And if you learn it extra, and if you have something in your career, you can immediately switch to full stack engineer. Okay, so there is no, what to say, hindrance for you to move to full stack development. So I was from full stack to backend, but if you want, you can immediately switch. Collaborations and things like that, I don't see any difficulties in collaborating with front end people. Like if there are two teams working on backend and front end, it's just, you can just collaborate with them. So I don't see much difficulties there, Inian. I hope I have answered your question, or if you need some anything specific, let me know, because I'm not sure whether I answered it.
Yeah, I got the idea. Yeah, thank you.
Right. Anyone else?
Hi, senior. How does being a full stack developer differ from being specialized in front end and back end development?
Okay. So being a full stack developer is always an advantage. Okay, you can, but I don't see much difference in terms of package or salary. But being a full Okay, so being a full stack developer is always an advantage. If you want to become backend, it's like, full stack backend. If you know backend, you can easily learn front end also. Tamba sir, is there a noise coming out from my end?
Yes, ma, because rest of the mics are unmuted.
I think some work is going on.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so what I was trying to tell is, specialized in backend front end is good if you know more about Java or Python. You can backend is not just about API development. Sometimes it will be configuration. Sometimes it will be working on a platform engineering task. Sometimes it will be DevOps engineering task. So it doesn't matter much. Being a full stack developer is always an advantage. That's my answer, Amita.
Thank you, senior. That's quite required.
Thank you. Any questions? Any other questions, please?
How do you stay updated with the latest advancements in the field? Because day by day there will be many changes taken place. So how do you get updated?
Right. So in my field, right now, like I was working in Node.js in my Infosys company. I was just working with Node.js, but for IBM, I was chosen for Java. Now I can't say as a programmer that I don't know, I don't have experience in Java. I should learn again. That is what they also expect. So what is the ideal expectation from companies is that if you are a programmer, you should have that ability to work with all the other languages. Now I switched to Python. Again, I have not worked in Python. Now again, it's another new technology. So you should always be willing to learn. That's the only thing. And if you go to current different companies who are already having a good product and good technology, from there you will learn those technology. For me here it's Python, so I'm going to learn Python. But if you are in a company who wants to develop something extra, then you have to keep on bringing in new technologies. You have to keep on learning special courses in terms of Udemy or Coursera, something like that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tarun. Any other questions?
Hi, sis.
Hi, Kavanya.
What are some mistakes that you made early in your career so that we can avoid if we want to jump into backend development?
Early in my career. Okay, so I did make a lot of mistakes, and mistakes are a place where we learn. So one thing is, I don't want to discourage you, but work in the working time. Okay, don't mess up with the other parts of life. It's okay that if you could, if you're very passionate, go ahead, do the work. Obviously they are paying you, and if you're interested, you have to work during the working hours. Okay, I actually, what I did is I lost my bit of health because I was not putting some boundaries. I was working like anytime I want. I was working at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So that obviously, affected my health. But I would recommend you to stick. In IBM, it was very good, right? They were giving me a good work culture. See, only thing they will see is what you work. If you work, that's good, right? The second thing, mistake that I would have made is be willing to learn whatever comes your way, right? So you can't say that I am from this technology, I can't work in this technology. That is not something that they will look. And I had that mindset when I switched to Java. In between, I had that mindset, and then I made a modification, right? Whatever, at the end of the day, I'm a software developer. It's not like I'm Python developer or Java developer. So whatever comes in the way, you have to learn it and do it. You have to be willing to learn it and do it, and take initiatives wherever you can. Take initiatives and show yourself what you can do. So these are the three things I would recommend.
Thank you very much.
Sister,
Yes, one more thing.
what skills are required mainly for a backend developer?
Uh, Java, Python, or Node.js. Okay.
Excuse me, sister.
Yes.
Which is the main thing help you to develop on the make you to expertise in this area? What are the main things?
Main things in terms of, I mean,
which it helps you to become expertise in this area. Like, what are the things you must learn to become an expert in this area?
okay. In terms of technology, or in terms of, how do you operate with corporate culture? Am I clear, Nitish? In terms of technology, you're asking me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so yeah, so like in Infosys, they give training. They give good trainings. Okay, for Python and SQL, they give very good trainings. You can make use of that. And once they start in the project, you should not tell that, my training was in Java again, but I was put in Node.js project. Again, you will learn Node.js. So when you come to the project, it will be completely new. You don't know. See, I asked my manager what is an API. And first they were like, oh my God, this girl doesn't know API. But after some time, they were like, I became an expert in API after that. And they gave me some good remarks. So how do you learn is, when you're assigned to new project, obviously it will be like, you don't know anything in the beginning. But be patient, be patient and just observe. I would say just observe whatever they are doing. And if it is Node.js, again, take Udemy courses and learn it. Most of them are self-learning, Nitish, here. In the software development field, apart from you learning in college, make sure that you learn something extra. Mostly it will be self-learning. Like no one will be there to help you or teach you. You can expect, when you're a fresher, you can expect something from your seniors. But after 1 or 2 years, right, you will be asked to prove independently or work independently. So in that case, only self-learning will help you in the long run. So whatever technology comes to you, right, in terms of job, if they ask you to write an API, learn how to write an API and then do it. Okay, if they put you in database, learn. That's how I learned. So I just, when I entered into a company, I know about HTML, I know about C, I know about Java. I don't know how to write APIs in basic APIs in Java. That's it. But in the project, I was completely put in Node.js. So there only self-learning helped.
Yeah, I got a point. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitish.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Harishankar. How
Yes,
would you scale a backend application to handle a large number of users?
Okay, so it's just getting deep into the technique, right? So you can make use of scaling technologies, load balancers, or there are horizontal scaling and vertical scaling if you could learn more. So if you want to, handle the load, you can increase the number of servers. So where you can use load balancers and things like that. Now, right, everyone are not using servers for deployment. Now they are using Kubernetes for deployment. So Kubernetes already comes with load balancers, which itself will take care of which server to route to or which instance to route to based on the configuration that we provide. So I would say simple answer would be scaling using load balancers. Okay. I hope it answered your question, Harishankar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Sri Selva.
What resources have been most helpful to you in your backend development?
Okay, right. So one thing, as I was telling, almost right, Udemy everywhere. So Udemy is the one that always helps me, and you can also use Java T Point in case if you want to learn Java. Java T Point is a very good resource. I would recommend. See, if you're looking for some Java position, you can learn everything from the basics. Most of the interview questions will also be asked from the Java T Point website. Okay, so that's for Java. And if you want to learn API, if you want to learn other things, go for Udemy. Good courses are above 4.5 rating. You can go ahead and learn that. Apart from that, resources, W3 schools is basically used if you want some basic things for HTML, CSS. For those, you can go with W3 schools. If you guys are passionate towards other technologies, like for data science, we have CodeCamp, where you can use and learn.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Harita.
Ma'am, I have one doubt, ma'am. You told that first you worked in Infosys and then you switched to this company. And why
IBM.
you switched? Why you switch? What is the reason? You told full stack is better, and now you are working in backend.
Yeah,
What
so
is the reason?
okay. Nice, Bala. So I started. I mean, I was not starting with full stack. I say in my company, I learned in Infosys training. I learned Angular and Java. So both are full stack. When I entered in the project, they put me for backend only. Again, it's for Node.js. But out of curiosity, I took some projects. I asked my manager that whether I can work on this UI project, and out of that, I took one or two projects and I did that. But my predominant technology was backend. I was not, I was full stack, but I was not that much experienced into full stack. My most work, the complete day of my work will be writing 4 to 5 APIs rather than developing a UI. So I am more strong in backend. That's why I chose backend. And why did I choose from Infosys to IBM? I wanted a switch in terms of work life as well as for hike. That's obvious reason again. Then IBM was good. IBM I worked for 3 years. It was a good one, but I wanted to learn more. In product based, right, some companies' ability to learn more will be reduced. In service based, you can learn a lot. But in terms of work life balance, I would recommend product. So I wanted to learn more again. So it was been 3 years in IBM. So I switched to ViaSat. It's again a product based. Here I'm learning some new technologies. So I thought it's a good move. That's from my side.
Okay, sister. Now, on your opinion, backend is better or full stack? What you prefer to us?
Full stack. Go for full stack. See, it's not like backend or full stack, right? Everyone are gonna give you same pay for full stack or backend. It will be same pay. No, maybe little bit different here or there. See, if you work for backend developer in a very good company, your earning will be more than compared to a full stack developer in another company. So full stack and backend development in terms of package, there won't be much difference. If you're strong in full stack, it's better to go in full stack. If you're strong in backend, it's better to go in backend. Okay. See, full stack, backend, at the end of the day, everything comes under software developer. If you are going to a complete different field like data science, then only your designation is going to change. Full stack or backend, everything will be same in terms of software developer. See, if I go to Infosys, I was a backend developer, but my position was system engineer, right? So it doesn't matter much. If you want to learn more, you can go and do full stack. That's it.
Okay, sister. Thank you.
Thank you, Bala.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Harshan.
Can you give an example of a complex problem you solved in previous projects?
Okay. It looks like an interview question. Complex problems solved in previous projects. Great. This is one of the interview questions that they generally ask when you switch careers. So complex problem in the sense, okay, so we had a caching system in my previous company, my first company, but the architecture was not good enough. So we used Redis for cache, but the caching was giving an error in the server, and there was bug. We never expected that it will cause the bug, but after analyzing a lot, I figured out that it was because of out of memory issue, and the architecture of Redis was bad. What I did is I changed the entire architecture from of Redis from normal string based to hash set, and I also spoke with my manager and architecture. They gave me a good other design as well. So with the help of that, I was able to implement a good architecture. That's one of the complex problem. Why? Because we are not able to figure out the error. Only then we can fix it. Unless until we don't know the error, we can't fix it. So that's one of the complex problem, Harishankar.
Yeah, I got your point, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? All good? Any other questions? Okay, then.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for for having an amazing session. I'm happy that I've had an amazing session with every one of you. Handing over to Tamba, sir.
Thank you very much, Nisa Fatima. The wonderful and interactive, intellectual session given by you. Actually, the days are very fastly going. In 2015, we saw you as a first year student. So still we remember our class students, Godam Gannappan, Jeeves, yourself, Rajamina, and still Jaishana, Arna Devi. Actually, Arna Devi's sister is also studying here. I have taken the class. And
CSE?
No, she has also taken ECE. And also Jaisana brother, younger brother, who is also studying, he has also taken ECE. So very good batch which I have handled with you. Very happy moments. Thank you, Nisha Fatima.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for inviting me, first of all. Thank you so much.
Vignesh Darshan.
Sir.
So are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Please take the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Vignesh Darshan. On behalf of our institution, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed alumni, Ms. Nisa Fatima, for sharing their valuable time, insights, and experience with us today. Stories have been truly inspiring us, and we appreciate your continued connection with us. A special thanks to our organizing team for their efforts in making this event possible, and to our faculty and students for their participation and enthusiasm. We are grateful for the bond between our alumni and current students. We look forward to more such enriching interactions in the future. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha Fatima. Thank you, dear students and all my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you.